Good evening, everybody. Sorry. Good evening, everybody. This is Daily Recall on May 4th, 2026. Hope everybody's having a nice night. Hopefully May brings us some nice weather. It's been kind of crap. April in Sarnia, very inconsistent. Right now it's raining, but it was a nice day today. Okay, sorry. Not much going on today. Same shit, different day. I guess Mark Carney, our prime minister, gave another $250 million to Ukraine, the Ukraine war, the endless money pit for Canadian taxpayers. But we got to fight. We're fighting evil. The evil Russians. How much of that money is being stolen? All of it, probably. And then a bunch of other stuff. Still hasn't started up resume the Iran war, but it could any day now. So in the meantime, we'll see what's going on in Canada on this day. Okay, the first thing I see in the morning is this Patrick Brown, Mayor of Brampton. He looks kind of like a little bit of a rat face there, but no, this is Brad Bradford. I'm so used to Patrick Brown. Brad Bradford. This guy's running for mayor of Toronto. They're still doing the Sikh Khalsa Day thing. Or, oh no, this is a different, last week they had a different, it was like, they have a million different holidays. I can't keep track of them. This is the guy's the mayor of Toronto. Candidate for the mayor of Toronto. He's a councillor right now. And of course, he's pandering to the whatever Sikh crowd. Like, I don't know how many, there could be different Sikh crowds. There's a Khalistani Sikhs. I don't know the difference. So he's there. Khalsa Day marks the birth of the Sikh faith in 1699 and it's not that old, really. Celebrates Sikh culture, heritage, and unity. It was great to join my friend earlier today to pay tribute to the many contributions Sikh Canadians have made to strengthen our city every day. All right, so there's this guy, Brad Bradford. And this guy is going to lose to Olivia Chow. That's how boring this guy is. The worst, how embarrassing to lose to Olivia Chow, but it's going to happen. So boring, this guy, but if he would have said, I'm going to change the name of Sankofa Square back to Dundas, at least it would show he's different. But I think he voted for changing all the names, the woke thing, the woke movement to change all the names in Toronto. I think he voted for that, so he's no different than Olivia. He's going to lose to her. But I thought that, you can see why I thought that was Patrick Brown. They kind of look the same with their Indian, whatever, do-rag. Soy boy trader running for Toronto mayor should just move to India. I'm sick of all these politicians pretending they love they cherish these Indian holidays. They're literally there just for votes. Just at least, be honest. So, I think Patrick Brown's coming up. That's why I said Patrick Brown. Next. This is a story out of New Zealand, but it could happen here. A New Zealand woman has been left in shock after police hunted her down for a Facebook post they claim was unwelcoming to the Indian community. This is what happens when you live under a soft tyranny of the offended peoples. So yeah, she put a post, I guess, about I don't want to read the whole article, but she put a post saying, "Welcome to the new India," and it's of her in a cafe surrounded by Indians, I guess. So they tracked her down and harassed her over a social media post. So she posted this photo, and then she was bombarded with hateful and abusive comments from Indian Facebook users, and her post was reported to police, who then hunted her down and accused her of racism. So these Indians, they get really upset on the internet when you criticize them, and they call the cops on you. It's bizarre, really. Okay. So it doesn't say if they charged her. I think the police just maybe gave her a warning or whatever. But the point is this is going to get worse, I think, because it's just you can't criticize them or the policy. That's their goal. We need to ban immigration from India ASAP. I got to say that now while I still can. I don't want to get a police visit. So that's New Zealand. See, it's the same thing in New Zealand. There's a million Indians. New Zealand's a beautiful place too. They're going to fill it up with garbage. Throw some garbage. It'll look like Lord of the Rings. Garbage edition. All right. Indian immigration poses an existential threat to Western civilization, and any right-wing politician or influencer that says otherwise has betrayed their own people for their own personal financial benefits. So that's basically the whole Conservative Party and all their influencer bros. Yeah, that's the problem with the Conservative Party right now, is because they're not facing reality. They can't have a party of Western hardcore, the Western base, white Alberta rural, partnered with these Calistanis. It's not sustainable. This is a big thing going around today. It's in BC. I hate when there's not any. It's in Coquitlam, BC. So people were videotaping this Indian guy hanging out at the river, and they see he's doing washing his clothes or something. I don't know. And he's got a bunch of shit there, and I'm sure he probably took a crap over by the river. But the reason this is so, I think a lot of people are reacting to this video is because they've seen the videos in India of the rivers in India, and it's man, we cannot have that happen here. I think that's why the reaction to this video is. It's just this is just a start. And I said, they will destroy every river and lake in Canada if given the chance. We have a nice river here, the St. Clair River, blue as hell. I drive by it once a week along the river road, and it's beautiful to look at. So hopefully there's no garbage like India. So, see what this says here.
No, we don't put soap.
So this is the encounter.
We don't put soap in the river. There's salmon. There's salmon and all sorts of fish. This is a good. This is. Yeah, no, this is a protected area. Please, no soap or detergent in the river. Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't do that here.
Look, he's like camped out there.
We don't do that here.
Who knows what he's putting in the water? Probably just took a crap. He's washing his hands a little bit.
I went on.
So
no, we don't put soap in the river. I don't. There's salmon.
It's only one dude.
Salmon and all sorts of fish. This
right.
is a good. This is.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, this is a protected area.
I don't know what he said about. But anyway, he's. Sorry, I keep hitting this button here. Anyway, he's just one dude, but can you imagine if there's thousands of them by the river? It'll be destroyed. Destroyed, garbage, waste, anything like human waste. And that's the thing with BC. It's known for its pristine wilderness and it's the rivers and lakes and the salmon. And it's going to get all destroyed. That's the tragedy of it. I mean, and we're not like pulling anything out of thin air. Like you've seen the videos of like the Ganges River and all that being just totally polluted. So it's not like it's just coming out of nowhere. It's just like, that's one guy. One guy. Imagine 1 million of this. Not just in BC either. All right. That's enough of that. I'm sure it's summer. As summer approaches, we'll see more and more of these types of videos. All right. I don't know how old this video is. But you've seen a lot. A migrant stripped off, then sat in a female toilet waiting for a young girl to walk in. Man went in and confronted him after a complaint was made. Sickening, we have to live like this. So yeah, look at this. This is weird.
You weird bastard.
Yeah. You want? I can drink your piss.
What the fuck are you on about, you
So this is obviously in England or something.
You scruffy bastard.
The reason I saw this video is because I always have to send my daughter into the washroom, and I try to check the washroom as best as possible. But you always worry, like that one time, I have to worry every time she uses the washroom because of this shit, you know, the third worldization of Canada, you know, seeing, you know, having to worry about your kids all the time. It's ridiculous. So this guy, but, you know, what do you do with a guy like that? Oh. All right, there's Indians eating. Apparently they say this is normal. I don't like that. I think you should use a fork or should use chopsticks. Chopsticks work very good.
Meat, but I'm making an exception.
All right. And they say it's like, oh, it's the same as eating pizza or a hot dog. No, it's not. It's not.
What? No.
It's like they purposely try to be as disgusting as possible. All right. You get the picture.
Surge of tornadoes tore across a large swath of the country.
Okay. This is funny. Remember Rogers said they were going to lay off half their staff or offer half their staff buyouts. I'm getting CIA here. Well, apparently I don't know, what? Okay. Let me read this post, sorry. We have a Liberal cabinet minister of Indian descent offering tax subsidies to HCL India in Mississauga, paid for by Canadian taxpayers, while pushing for IT visas for Indian nationals so HCL India and Mississauga can hire those Indians. Meanwhile, Rogers are laying off Canadians and outsourcing jobs to HCL India and Mississauga. Why isn't there an uproar about this? Where is Premier Ford Nation and Prime Minister Mark Carney? Aren't they supposed to protect Canadian? Okay. So basically what she's saying is this guy's saying Rogers is outsourcing jobs to HCL India. So this company's bringing Indians over to take jobs from Canadians from the Rogers thing. And probably other companies. So what a scam. Doug Ford supports all this too. So yeah, just more Indians. This is another thing I saw, this chart. Immigration, garbage everywhere. And I've seen a few garbage pictures lately on the internet. And, you know, it's end of winter, maybe it's the thaw. But the snow's been gone for a long time, so I've noticed litter around here. And maybe there's always been litter, but now I'm starting to look. And even like when I'm driving, I see more and more like Tim Hortons or like fast food stuff on the curb of the road. I'm starting to look more and I see more and more. And I don't remember us littering that much. I think, you know, there was always been someone who littered, but most of the people didn't litter. And it just seems like more. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on it this summer. See, the snow hides a lot. I think there's a litter picture coming up. You know. This is another thing. This is crazy here. Look at this. Look at this. This feral, backward, deranged import slashed a 16-month-old baby in Dublin with a broken can. The baby sustained head injuries. How much more of this are we supposed to take? Mass deportations now. Yeah, Ireland's got a lot of Africans coming. It's a lot closer there, UK and Ireland and Europe in general, for the African migrants to get over. Here they have to actually fly here, and it's a little bit of an impediment there. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But they're nuts. This happens all the time in Europe. Horrible stuff. Look at this guy. Wonder where he came from. Okay. All right. Next. Let's go to the next one here. In Spain now. Something horrible in Spain. Spain's gotten a lot of migrants from Africa. There's a media blackout in Spain after a woman had her throat sliced open in broad daylight by an unknown man in Barcelona. Locals are saying on social media that the woman was in fact a 15-year-old girl and the man was a migrant. Oh, so I think she died. And you're seeing cases like that all the time in Europe. But in Canada too. Like, we're importing there's a lot of people from Africa coming and claiming like asylum here. It's not as bad as Europe, but I don't see why we'd be importing this from Africa. Vigilante squads will be popping up to deal with this problem that the government refuses to handle, I think. If the government allows their people to get killed in horrible ways like this, it's only inevitable that the pitchforks are going to come out. It's a sign of failure, obviously, but this is funny. Not funny, but Ukraine preparing to receive hundreds of thousands of migrants. Africans will help to cope with the demographic crisis. So it's like, kill 1 million people, 1 million men, and force a bunch of others to flee in a unwinnable, unnecessary war, and then bring in a bunch of Africans. That doesn't make any sense. Kill the white men, bring in Africans. And meanwhile, we're going to give $270 million in military aid to Ukraine. So that's like over $25 billion so far. It's just like a global, it's like a money pit for Canadian taxpayers, for the leaders. It's a slush fund. And, you know, they want a full war with Russia. Like, the only reason we're sending $270 million in military aid is because we want this Russia war to keep going. It's horrible. If the Ukraine army had any brains, the soldiers, they'd be marching on Kiev instead of fighting the Russians. All right, next. What's this? Okay, I have a feeling vigilante squads are going to become a thing. This is in Europe. So basically there's all these African boat guys, and there's no women or children, it's just all guys. And they're going to all these European cities and causing all sorts of chaos. And the police don't do anything. And on the case somebody like gets killed and the police arrest somebody, they have to they always have, the guy always gets out and whatever. So now that's why I think it's like they're almost encouraging vigilante squads. It's like they want, because that's what's going to happen. You can only have so many rapes and murders before the locals will storm the police station. And not a good thing, but that's the situation. Let's see what this. This is tame. It's gonna get worse if it's not taking care of the problem. But sorry, I thought I reposted it with like a description of what was going on there, but whatever. You get the picture. Basically, they tracked this guy down. I guess he was pulling some shit. There's a lot of frustration with the migration situation in Europe, like big time. Okay. Today, Doug Ford. Because we see all these videos of Toronto TTC people sleeping, people smoking crack, people taking a piss or shit, or, you know, robbing somebody. And now finally Doug Ford is going to say they've had enough. Let's see what he says here. We're bringing in tough new rules to crack down on people using drugs on public transit so we can keep our communities safe. He's going to give transit constables power to arrest as part of a crackdown on drug use. So this guy's been premier for 8 years, and Toronto's basically descended into a third world city under his watch. So now he's going to fix all the problems on the TTC. It's ridiculous. He turned Ontario into a third world shithole. Now he says he's going to do something. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to criticize cracking down on all the nonsense going on the TTC. Like, I wouldn't take my kids on the subway. Why? Like, I wouldn't even want to go by myself, but yeah, Doug Ford, traitor. He's a joke. So there's that. 270 million Ukraine. This is my house early in the morning. It was a clear blue sky until that showed up. All right, there's Mark Carney. Of course, giving more money to the endless pit of Ukraine. There he is. Today, we announced $270 million of new military support to Ukraine. Ukraine's fight is our fight. Their cause, freedom, democracy, sovereignty is our cause. Yeah. Full-on war with Russia is their goal. That's why they want to do recruitment in the military and increase spending. I'm not worried about Russia. I don't mind Russia. They like hockey. They're a northern country. They're a Christian country. You know, I'm more worried about being invaded here by Africans and Indians. Not worried about Russia at all. But we're going to spend all this money, keep shoveling billions of dollars to get our war with Russia. All right. There's Doug Ford. What's he say? Alexander Brown. The worse there is, the worse there was, the worse there ever be. Yeah. This is a good article on Doug Ford. It really kind of really expressed how I felt about the guy. Basically, now that he's losing in the polls, or he's kind of really down in the polls, I like this, what he says here. I'm not going to read the whole article, but okay, here. So he's down in the polls. Everything in Ontario has gotten materially worse. The province's unemployment rate has increased for the 4th straight year. Record low family housing starts are setting off alarm bells. Ontario's housing market is expected to get worse for both buyers and sellers for the foreseeable future, as sellers hold as prices dip from artificial highs, and buyers and renters are choked off by a limited supply of anything beyond a glut of dog crate condos, with limited to no condo starts scheduled for the years ahead. The one thing for sure is that it's going to get worse in Ontario. There's no possibly a better. Thinking otherwise is entirely based on hopium. All of this was exacerbated by the province's worse in the West participation in mass immigration moonshot during COVID years that rapidly transformed Ontario's towns, led to the rise and fall of a notorious diploma mill industry that sought both willing participants and willful dupes looking for a shortcut to PR, in which Premier Ford and his government participated. Building the fake schools was bad, looking the other way as millions of temporary laborers flooded the marketplace, radically transforming formerly diverse but cohesive suburbs, upending the launching pad prospects, rent costs, and general morale of a generation of working Ontarians was worse. Keeping up this act in 2026 is downright unforgivable. Confronted by unruly and entitled temporary residents demanding extensions to their permits last week, Ford knelt before the braying mob saying, "I wish I could snap my fingers and say, okay, you can stay." So yeah, basically saying, Alexander Brown basically saying how Doug Ford's destroyed Ontario, and I've been saying that for a long time, but I think he summed it up pretty good there. Just he was bragging how he bringing in all these people. He brought in all these people. They all want to come to Ontario. All right. Okay. I like this post here. I don't think algorithms amplify racist posts. Racist posts about Indians. Racist posts about Indians get a lot of attention because they're funny and because they're based in reality. I, for one, am sick to death of interacting with Indians in daily life. There's an almost inhuman aura they have. This is not me. This is someone else, but I kind of get where he's coming at. But I also thought, before, maybe the algorithm's making me anti-Indian. Maybe I'm being controlled or influenced. And I'm sure that happens. I'm sure we're influenced by all sorts of things. But on the Indian thing, I don't think it's an algorithm thing. Because it's basically every news article involving crime like 75% of them are Indian. And then when you walk and you leave your house to go to the park or to your kid's school or to the mall or to whatever, you're surrounded. So, and you have all these whatever unpleasant encounters, let's say. So I don't think that's the algorithm in this case. I think the Indian algorithm doesn't exist. It's just Indians. So I thought that post was interesting. And like I said, we're surrounded, I think. It's not the algorithm. All right. Since the war began, Canada has given Ukraine $25.8 billion. Let that sink in. Yeah, that's horrible. That's a lot of money. Endless supply. Endless pit. It's going to keep going. All right. There's that New Zealand woman again. They want to replace you in your own country and make it illegal to question it. Yep. It's kind of ridiculous, really. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Nothing, that's kind of the whole point. Ottawa to fast track permanent residency for up to 30,000 temporary foreign workers. So apparently this is for people that agree to go to like a small town that needs workers or some bullshit. But yeah, they're going to keep doing this in blocks, maybe 33,000 at a time to clear all the backlog. It's ridiculous. All right. 36% of Canadian restaurants operating at a loss or breaking even. 36%. Huh. Yeah, a lot of restaurants. All we're going to have is all these. I think, you know how the diploma mills, everybody was coming in on student visa, like millions. And now they're cracking down on it because everybody sees what a total fraud it is. Lambton College, I'm looking at you. The new way for the Indians to get into Canada is they basically buy a franchise. Like whatever, Fat Bastard or Mucho, whatever the hell the franchise. There's like 10 million of them. They buy a franchise. And restaurant workers are hard to find historically, so they use a temporary foreign worker program and bring in like 20 of their cousins. I'm sure the 36% of the Canadian restaurants are just actual restaurants that are trying to make it, not basically immigration mills. Okay. Here's a story out of Alberta, but it could have easily been Ontario because it's a federal, I think, regulation that takes precedent in this case in Alberta. It's crazy. I read this article. So this guy from Ethiopia, he came here in 2013 on a student visa. He's from Ethiopia. And he's still here. He's got his permanent resident card. And he got into a road rage incident. But he won't face deportation. He had a loaded gun. And over some minor traffic thing. Like, who pulls a loaded gun on a minor traffic thing? Someone with very low impulse. I wonder if I have to sign in for this one. What's his name? Thomas Casse Bear. He got 3 years in prison for being in possession of a loaded Glock, pointing it at another driver, threatening to shoot him, and for 11 days later, when the police finally caught up to him, being a passenger in a car that he knew contained a loaded .38 caliber revolver. So he obviously hangs out with, a rough crowd. He's not even a Canadian citizen. Justice A.J. Brown pointed out there's not much danger of Bear being deported to Ethiopia anytime soon. While any sentence longer than 6 months behind bars would make him subject to an automatic removal order, Immigration Canada does stay removal orders to enumerated countries that are in a state of war or otherwise subject to violence. Currently, Ethiopia is one such country. So they argued for 3 years. What did he get? It's a crazy article. So he got 3 years in prison. But basically they're saying he won't get deported because the federal government, Immigration Canada, has a list of countries that would be unsafe to return people to. And Ethiopia is one of those countries. So basically any Ethiopian who's a PR or a temporary worker or student visa. Hold on. Oh, I lost my music. Oh well. Anybody who's a temporary visa worker, no, temporary foreign worker or student visa holder from Ethiopia can basically kill anybody and they won't get deported. Basically, that's what you're saying. So basically, because Ethiopia is a shithole, they can do whatever they want in Canada and they don't have to worry about getting deported. Okay. Like, that's crazy. So, you think he's not going to do that again? You think he's going to learn his lesson when he goes to jail? All right. Canada must be more selective in welcoming newcomers. Yes. That's an understatement. This is funny. I saw this today. Hold on.
If you own an iPhone, there's a 97% chance that you still...
This is funny. Air India has canceled all international flights until July due to fuel shortages. Yeah. I wouldn't get too excited about that because I'm sure there's other airlines that still fly out of India, but it's kind of funny. No direct flight from Amritsar. All they need to do is cut the internet cable, underwater internet cable from Iran. Iran threatened to cut the underwater internet cable, and that would have cut India off from the internet. So that would have been horrible. No, not horrible. Great. All right. What's this here? Some good news. Good news. We want to report some good news. Okay. Surrey Police Service has worked with the Canadian Border Services Agency to deport Prabjot Singh. He is suspected of being involved in the ongoing BC extortion crisis. So yeah, they deported one guy, but you know, it's a start. Just a few more million to go. But you know, Canadian government used to be the champion of deportations in the 30s during the Depression. They were deporting people like crazy. No internet, no technology, just hard work. They deported like a lot of people, and people were like freaking out. They're like, saw them coming, they ran. So it happened before. It could happen again, the mass deportations. All right. This is funny. This is as Canadian as it gets. The current situation. Apparently, there's some Indians camping by the river. There's a beaver they're probably by the beaver's nest, and there's a beaver attack on them. So the Canadian beaver's attacking. Even the Canadian beaver doesn't like the Indians. But I saw the Indians had some dogs there, which is kind of scary, because who's going to pick up the dog shit? Indians and dogs. It's weird. I was a little surprised when they had dogs. But they're trying to fit in, I guess. Look at this.
Beaver.
This is kind of funny.
Get attacked by a fucking beaver. Yo. Look at this shit. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit.
Through the beaver. So Beaver said, I'll be back to fight another day. I'll bring more beavers.
Attacking people.
This beaver's like anti-Indian beaver.
No, we don't put soap in the river. There's salmon.
There's the other guy in the BC.
Attacked by a fucking beaver. Yeah.
Alright, this beaver represents every Canadian suffering from Indian fatigue right now.
Look at this shit. Oh my fucking god.
I've never seen a beaver attack before. Okay. So there's that. Filling the labor gaps. Smaller communities by accelerating permanent residence for 33,000 workers. I'm sure there'll be Indians. Why do we're giving them all the PR? That's crazy. Big news today out of McDonald's. They're removing all self-serve soda fountains from all locations. So usually McDonald's is an industry leader, so probably all the other places will do the same. And I thought, at first I thought it was just black people stealing the pop in like the black neighborhoods, which is probably what happens, but it's probably not just the black people. It's probably like just homeless people or people don't want to pay for pop. So yeah, but it's a sign, right? We can joke all about it, but it's really a sign that it's like society's crumbling to the point where you can't have your own pop. And I don't think McDonald's or the other places minded to feel like you drank your pop halfway, your kids are playing in the play thing, and you say, I'm going to just top it off one more time, and that's it. So basically a half a refill. I don't think they cared about that. It's people just stealing it, probably. That probably did it. But, that's why you can't have nice things in a third world society. Yes. So, that's it. That's it for today. I mean, the beaver got his anti-Indian frustration out, at least. And we did deport one guy, so. We can't deport anybody to Ethiopia, though. What the hell? We really need to ban immigration from Africa. And it's nothing against the Africans, but seriously, it's 1.5 billion Africans that want to get the hell out of Africa. And they see Canada as a sucker country that'll pay all their baby bonus and this and that. So it's like, whatever. Like India and Africa, ban it for both. The Indian subcontinent and Africa. And it's nothing personal, but there's 3 billion of them. And it'll be a disaster. And they've already shown they can't behave. Like we're cleaning up all their messes. Whether it's loaded handguns in the road rage thing or ruining the river or all sorts of crazy stuff in between. So, but not looking good. Not looking good. We'll see. But maybe it's always darkness before the light. So that's really it. Try not to be too nihilistic, because I think, I feel good. Like a lot of people are like starting to say, what the hell, man? Like, this is getting a little out of hand. So that's kind of encouraging. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, the next broadcast will be tomorrow, May 5th. Tuesday, May 5th. And we'll see how things are then. So until then, have yourself a nice night.